Good morning, Indianapolis. Delivering here at 9 o'clock. I've got some steel pipe on the back of my truck. Actually, winter has arrived. I'll just give you a quick look of what they're unloading here. Oh, my face is in the way. Bigger tubes up front, smaller tubes in the back, but the stack in the back weighs probably the same as the stack in the front. They're more densely packed, smaller tubes, and the ones up front are just bigger tubes, so the individual packs of tubing, like that pack of tubing, weighs less than one of those packs of tubing by weight. These are like 1,800 pounds per pick, and those are 2,400 pounds. Anyway, and they do fire protection systems. And the reason I mention that is because my work assignment in my paperwork, in the directions I received, and it'll take a second and that'll actually focus. No matter how many times I tap on the screen. I know I say this every time, but there's going to be somebody who sees this and says, Dale, you just need to tap the screen to get it to focus, and that's not true. In dual camera mode, that function doesn't work. But the main thing I wanted to discuss was that the address, the name... Let me zoom in a little bit more. I am at the delivery location, which is the address for my delivery, but it's got a different name for the company that I'm delivering at. And my paperwork has no indication that it's supposed to be delivered or co-signed for another company name, which when I Google it, I'm really sorry that this is not focusing, because I hate looking at blurry things. It's already bad enough I have to wear glasses. The manufacturer, the name of the place where my load assignment said to go was like over in this area, which is by the scale of this map is a couple miles away. And so I was like, there's a discrepancy. And so that's the gist of this video, is covering, what kind of problems you kind of run into, and you really have to be careful as to where you go when you go to deliver your stuff. At some point, this lovely phone will focus on this area here versus, I don't know what it's trying to focus on. Here, there's my old hands. Focus on that or something. So it's a little bit, there we go. See, camera, it's not too tough. Autofocus. So while I get sidetracked with my camera, basically I had a delivery name of a company over here, an address here. So they gave an address for a company over here with a delivery location of where I'm at. But on the paperwork that goes to the customer that's buying this product, their name is on that address as well. So I was kind of confused, and I says, well, I'll go ahead and send in for directions. And the directions kind of led me over into this area, but the directions were so bad that I was like, these directions don't even make sense. They said, get off exit 86 and then 2345, and I'm like, what? Is that some kind of trucking lingo I haven't picked up yet because I'm so inexperienced with only 3 years? And I was like, So as a last resort, I sent a message on my Qualcomm unit to my fleet manager to see if there is an obvious discrepancy that I'm not aware of, and I just wanted to make sure. Let me give you something to look at, so you can kind of see my product. Anyway, so I sent a message to my fleet manager. Is there a discrepancy? Because I want to make sure, is this the correct address? Because currently the name that you want me to deliver to is not at that location. It wants me to deliver to this other location, or I should say that this other company with that address. So there's a discrepancy on the paperwork, and I want clarification, because the directions provided are awful. And they came back and says, oh yeah, let me verify. They ended up giving me a phone number. And I think that's Sometimes they have us call the customer because sometimes that's the easiest way to confirm. And I try to save calling the customer for the last resort. But that's just my personal practice of doing that. There are others, I'm sure, that just like call the number listed for the company and verify stuff. But anyway, I called and they verified, yes, this is that company. You know, when they answered the phone, they answered, hey, this is the Firehouse Supply. That's not their name, but we'll call them Sprinkler Systems. And so when they answered the phone, I just had to verify, is your address such and such? And they go, yes. And I'm like, all right, that's where I'm going to head. You know, I explained, hi, who I am, the company I drive for. I try to sound as professional as possible. Far from the way I sound on these videos. So I explained who I was and that I was bringing a load of pipe to their location. I just needed to verify. Sorry, my arm is shaking. I just needed to verify their address. So, oh, that adjusted. Oh, I found another switch on my phone. I wasn't aware of. So I verified the address, and then I told them that I'd be here today. On my way here from, where did I pick this up at? Missouri. Here to Indianapolis, I ran into another Maverick driver, and he said there's an accident on Interstate 70 on the way to Indianapolis, and they've got the road closed, so you need to take this other route. And I did, and it got to the point where I was like, you know what? It's not going to be worth it for me to try to drive another 30 miles into this traffic because I don't deliver until the morning at 8:30. So I'm like, well, I'll just stop at the location I did, which was a TA. I think it was exit 27 off of Interstate 70. And as a result, I ended up showing up here at exactly the right time. I've got a pre-plan. Let's see, show that button. Route display, summary map view. Bam, it shows the whole route. And I often look at this just to see if I want to make any adjustments. If this line isn't straight enough for me, sometimes I'll make adjustments. So, and actually I may, let's see, how many, do they have the mileage on here? 94. So 96. Yeah, I'm not going to make any adjustments. So if there was a vast difference between the mileage that my GPS is telling me it's going to get there and what they're allotting me for this deadhead, because I'm going to drive empty from this location to there to pick up rolls of paper. And it is going to, that's Danville, Illinois, going to Fort Dodge, Iowa. And I like that trip. I like going west. I like open prairie. I like less traffic. You know, when you head out into the plains states, things just get a little calmer. Whoops, I'm trying to press buttons looking through my phone, which can be a mistake. So, busy area, busy Chicago. Yeah, this 9480, it's also got construction going on there, so that just makes that area, Chicago, even worse. I mean, it takes a lot to make Chicago worse for driving, but they're like, hey, let's do construction on all the highways at once. And so it takes a 45-minute and makes it 2 hours, so it's just horrendous. So anytime I can get closer to I-35, the happier I feel, because when you get out into the plain states, I guess in that direction, I find it a lot smoother to drive around. Anyway, hopefully that made a lot of sense of what I was talking about today. It's just really have to verify and pay close attention to whatever your load assignment addresses are and names of companies that you're delivering to, and you got to make sure they all line up. And if they don't, you got to develop steps for yourself to verify where you're going, because nothing's worse than going to the wrong place.